Hello everyone and welcome back to Collegedunia Study Abroad. My name is Swapnil and I'm back again with an interesting candidate all the way from Germany. Today we are going to talk with Yashas Gandhi. He's pursuing his master's degree in computational science and engineering from the TUM, which is the largest public university in Germany. TUM has about 50,000 students, out of which 41% students are international students. According to the Impact Ranking of Higher Education 2023, TUM ranks first for industry, innovation and infrastructure. Watch this whole video till the end and get detailed insights from an international student जो इस वक्त वहाँ पे पढ़ रहे हैं. On top of that, TUM is highly competitive and acceptance rate of just 8%. Watch this video till the end. पसंद आया तो like ज़रूर करना and subscribe to our channel as well. But before we move ahead, if you also have a study abroad dream, go in the description, check out the first link that's out there, fill in your basic details and our expert counselors will reach out to you quickly. We also have two very interesting offerings, the visa guarantee package and the offer letter guarantee package, so do not forget to check them out as well. Now, let's move ahead in our video. Hi Yashas, how are you? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi Swapnil, I'm great. So I'm doing Masters in Computational Science and Engineering at Technical University of Munich. I did my schooling in Ahmedabad and I went for Bachelor's in Mechanical Engineering at BITS, Pilani, and then eventually landed up at TUM.
Okay.
That would be, I think, short introduction.
Perfect. Okay, so my first question, BITS Pilani versus Technical University of Munich. How is the experience? How's it been?
It's very different. It's completely different. So in India, we have like residential campuses like BITS, Pilani or IITs or anything. You stay on the campus, that's a completely different feeling compared to, here you rent your own house, you stay away somewhere in the city. And then there's just this campus where you have just the university, the educational buildings, but there's no residential campus. Kind of very different feeling. And of course, that's the one main difference. Other, I would say, of course, you also have difference in how they approach the studies and the facilities are different. Right. And cultural differences, obviously.
Right. So when did you start thinking about कि चलो मुझे बाहर जाना है, I want to study abroad and I want to go to Germany for my studies?
I always wanted to go abroad ever since I was a kid, I guess, but decided to do my bachelor's in India, which I think was a better decision. It's usually difficult to move countries, especially when you are just a teenager.
Right.
It becomes a bit easier once you become more mature. But yeah, I always wanted to go abroad.
Right. When did you come to Germany? In which year is this?
I came here in 2021.
Okay. So once you have decided कि चलो, now I want to go to Germany, what are the colleges that you applied to? कहाँ से accepts आए and कहाँ से rejects आए? If you can tell me about that.
Right. So I didn't apply specifically to Germany. I applied it everywhere in Europe. Okay. So within Germany, I just applied to two universities. One was TUM, another was RWTH Aachen. But other than these, I applied to ETH and EPFL in Switzerland. Then a few universities in Sweden, KTH, Uppsala, and Chalmers. Okay. And also TU Delft in Netherlands. Okay. And इनमें से कहाँ से acceptance आया and rejects? I think I got into Chalmers. I got into University of Twente, another university in Netherlands, and TUM. These three. Okay. And what about the rest of the universities? वहाँ से rejects क्यों मिले, if you know the reason? So basically, the Swiss universities like EPFL and all are very highly focused on grades. So unless you have 9 plus 9.5 plus, you can just forget about your chances, I guess. But I still took a shot. Right. What was your undergrad marks, if I can ask? Yeah, so I graduated with 8.9, but during application, I think it was 8.5. Okay. So I applied while I was still doing my bachelor's. So all right. So for international studies, what all exams did you have to give? Depends where you are applying, but in most cases, you need a GRE and TOEFL or IELTS for your English proficiency. Right. But these two they should be enough. Okay. So what was your GRE score? Yeah, so I got 117 quant, 116 verbal, and 4 in AWA.
Okay, okay, all right. And what about IELTS or TOEFL?
So I gave TOEFL and it was 108 total, but I don't remember the specific marks.
Okay. Why TOEFL? Why not other language proficiency exams? There's IELTS.
Honestly, I mean, when I was so first I gave GRE, but so GRE and TOEFL are conducted by the same company, and they offered me a voucher, and I just went ahead like whatever. I'll just book this.
Okay.
It doesn't matter, honestly. Just select one.
All right, all right.
Pretty
Now-
much accepted everywhere, both of the exams.
Okay. So now, if you have to apply at TUM, right? What were the initial steps that you took? कहाँ से apply करा? Tell me about the whole admission process, please.
So I just basically went on their website, TUM, like .de or yeah, something like that, and just searched the different programs they had to offer, selected the ones I liked, and finalized this computational science and engineering. And then you have
Were you keeping other programs as well in your bucket of choice?
Earlier, yes, I was considering also to apply for the aerospace program. So I was actually just applying for English programs.
Okay.
English taught programs because I didn't have any German proficiency when I was applying. So these two were offered in English, and also my background kind of matches well with these two. But eventually, I just applied for
English. Okay. So I have one more question now. Let's say if a student doesn't know or is not very well versed in German, how limiting it becomes for you to study in Germany, like program wise, or let's say even the culture that's there, even the people that's there, right? How limiting it becomes for an international student or an Indian student specifically?
So if you are looking for, say, bachelor's, most of the bachelor's programs are in German. So you really can't go for a bachelor's in Germany without knowing German. There are very few programs that might be in English, but for master's, the scenario is kind of different.
Okay.
Almost all the programs are in English, or they are being converted to English slowly. So you have much more choices for masters when it comes to English taught programs. And about the social life or just interacting with people, it's fine. Most people speak English here.
Okay.
But still, knowing German, I would say, is very much necessary regardless, because most people, but not everyone, speaks English. So it's still helpful.
How are you hanging up with the process of learning German? Or did you already had the knowledge of German language?
No, I started after I got an admit here and I finalized, that this is where I'm going. So university was offering classes. So I took some classes online when I was in India. Then after I came here, I took I basically till now, I think I did 4 courses and completed A2 level. There's 6 levels, A1, A2, B1, B2, up to C2. And so far I've completed till A2.
Okay. I hope you finish that whole course very nicely.
Let's see.
Okay, so now you have decided your program. Now what? Within the admission process, the application process, you have decided your program. This is what I want to pursue. What was the next step that you took?
Yeah, so I also kind of, reached out to people from the same university or people who were doing the same types of programs I was interested in, to gauge my chances of getting in, because you need LORs and stuff, and your professors might have a set limit, I'll just give you 8 LORs or 10 LORs.
Okay.
So you cannot go applying everywhere. So this kind of you make a few choices that are safe, few choices that with moderate choices you can get you can get in, and then of course a few ambitious ones. So this is one of you look at different universities, you pick the courses you like, talk to people who do those courses, and then finalize a few depending on how much how many LORs you have. And also sometimes money can be limiting factor if you have application fees.
Okay, what was the application fees at TUM?
They don't charge any application fees in Germany. I think no university does it, but others everywhere else I had to pay quite a few.
Okay. I think when it comes to the cost part, German institutes, especially the public institutes, have a lot of different scenarios, right? Like the tuition fee, we always keep hearing this. Public universities in Germany have a free tuition fee thing, right? The application fee was also waived off. So that's a great
Yeah.
situation. Nice. Now what? How many SOPs did you have to give? How many LORs did you have to give at TUM?
So LOR, I think I needed 2 LORs for TUM
Mm-hmm.
and just a regular SOP, which is I think common for almost every university. I think some Swedish universities did not ask for an SOP.
Okay.
I am not 100% certain, has been a while.
Of course.
But also some of them did not require any LOR from me. Just a bit surprising, but yes.
All right. LORs तुमने किन किन प्रोफेसर्स या किन लोगों से लिया बेसिकली?
So I just needed 2 LORs and both of them I took from the professors I worked with at BITS itself.
Okay. Okay.
So
All right.
yeah.
I don't find any work experience in your profile. Is it not important to maybe have some work experience and then go to Germany? What's your POV about that?
I just wanted to continue with my studies instead of having a break, do a job and then go for masters. Because maybe with some work experience, you probably get it's a bit easier to get selected for jobs after you complete masters. Maybe, I don't know. I'm yet to start apply for jobs myself. So, but also for some people, it's a way of offsetting their own performance in studies as well, I guess.
Right. Okay, that's great. So, how much time did it took once you've applied at TUM? What was the timeline that the university took to revert you?
I think it was less than 1 month, and since I applied and I got the result.
Okay.
TUM was pretty fast actually compared to other universities.
Okay, all right. Can you maybe go back in time and tell us how did you react once you saw the acceptance letter that came from the TUM?
I was obviously quite pumped up. So back then I didn't receive admits from quite a few universities I was expecting from. I was kind of upset and I was not really hoping that I am gonna get an admit from TUM, but I eventually did end up getting admitted at TUM, and it was kind of ambitious, like in the ambitious list for me. So I was even more happy, given that some moderate universities had rejected me. But yes.
Okay. All right. So now let's say you have got your acceptance letter. You have given your SOPs, LORs, everything is done. What about the visa process? Can you explain us what happens in the visa process of Germany, for Germany?
Yeah, I think the visa process has changed recently. Like during my time, I just needed to submit. So basically, we need something called a blocked account.
Okay.
You need to, store funds in the blocked account for 1 year.
Right.
It was like 10,000 euros at my time, and they gave you about 850 euros monthly from that account once you reach here.
Okay.
So this blocked account was needed. Then health insurance, travel insurance, and stuff like that. But yeah, that was about it at my time. I think right now they also need something called APS certificate, which was not there during my time.
Okay. What is an APS certificate?
So,
if you want to tell it to the viewers.
Yeah, I think basically you submit your documents to the German embassy and they verify it, like, yeah, these are correct or something like that. I'm not 100% sure because I did not go through this process. But once they verify your documents, they give you this APS certificate. It's needed for your visa.
Okay. After the documentation, did you also had a visa interview?
No.
Okay, all right.
You just handed in the documents, that's it.
And when did you receive a word from these authorities कि ठीक है तुम्हारा visa लग गया या नहीं? You got rejected.
Month and a half, I think. But at my time, the processing times were really long because of COVID.
Right.
They were not issuing visas for quite some time, and then when they suddenly started again, lots of delays and stuff. Might be quicker now.
Right. And how difficult was it for you to get a German visa slot, interview slot, basically?
So I didn't have to select a slot or anything. I just had to apply for the visa, and they gave me a slot from their end.
Okay.
This date and time.
let's say if I try and apply it today, what do you
Mhm.
think would be the tentative date that I would? How many months forward are we talking about?
This really depends where you are. So basically, Germany has 4 or 5 embassies in India, I think. And depending on which region you go to, different one. Like for me, since I was in Ahmedabad, I had to submit documents at the Mumbai embassy, and
Right.
all of the embassies have different procedures a little bit and their own processing times. But for me, when I applied, I think they gave me an appointment a month after that.
Okay.
And once I submitted the documents, took me 1.5 months, I guess, for the approval. Then you submit your passport for the stamping, and that is another, say, 2 weeks.
That's awesome. So now you're done with your admission process. You're also done with your visa process. It's time to pack your bags and go to Germany. तुमने अपने बैग में क्या-क्या पैक करा था?
मैं नहीं बताऊंगा.
Clothes, obviously.
Yes, but
But I was really like trying to pack as much as I can, like food, bartan, like vessels, there's all kind of hysteria, people like you won't get this here, you won't get that here. But
how
to be
true
honest,
is that? How true is that?
I would say it's good if you can fit it, but otherwise you get pretty much everything here actually. All types of vessels. There were people would say you don't get pressure cooker here, you don't get a mixer here, but you get everything actually. It's a bit costly, but still.
All right. So I think this is a good point for our viewers कि Germany अगर जा रहे हो या I suppose किसी भी country जा रहे हो, be it US, UK, Canada, I don't think it's very important to pack all the utensils or pack all the masalas that
Definitely.
we usually have in our households.
Because definitely, because it's always a lot of it's not easy to carry so much weight as well when you're
exactly. Plus you also have that weight limit, so you have to use everything very wisely.
Yes.
Right. Perfect. ठीक है. You are on the flight. You're almost there to land, and you're out of the airport. What was your first experience about Germany? How did you react once you were out of the airport?
I still remember distinctly. As soon as I set foot out, it was like the atmosphere was kind of cold. The first thing that I realized, the cold hit me. I was like, damn. Like, when you are in India in October, Ahmedabad, it's pretty warm, even in October.
Right.
Then suddenly you come here, it's like 10 degrees, 12 degrees.
Right.
That's the first thing you notice, I would say, if you come in winter semester.
Right. Interesting. So airport से बाहर निकलते ही तुमने क्या करा? Did you have to book a taxi or where were you going? Take us through that.
Yeah, so basically I had to take a train to the place, where I was living, like my home. Just went to they have these vending machines. You go there and buy your ticket and you get on the train.
Achha.
I had my friend waiting on the other end.
Okay.
So who was also living with me.
Right.
So he came to the stop near my home to help me with the luggage. But yeah.
Of course. Then what? Where did you go? Did you go to the friend's place initially?
No, so me and like 2 more friends. So 3 of us were staying together. So this guy reached before me. So he just came to help me.
Achha.
He was already here.
So your accommodation was already sorted?
Yeah.
And it was an off-campus accommodation?
Yeah, we don't have any residential campus here, as I say.
Okay. All right. Now talking about your accommodation, what's the rent that you guys are incurring right now?
So I'm a bit lucky, to be honest. I pay around 520 euros, which is on the lower end for Munich.
Exactly. Munich is a city where it's the costliest city in Germany, right?
It is.
Right. So 520 euros per month you have to spare for the rent.
Which is on the lower end.
Right. And what is the average rent in Munich? What do you think?
For a student, easily I would say 600, 700 euros. That's the average, or even a bit on the lower end. Usually, like most people, if you live in a bit fancy place, it can easily go up to 1,000 or more than that.
Okay, all right. So, chalo, ये तो हो गई rent की बात. What are the other expenses that you incur in a month? Other living expenses basically. Electricity का bill का खर्चा कितना है?
So
what's your grocery situation?
So for the electricity, at least till now, I never had to pay it separately. For me, till now, it has always been included in my rent, but there are some places where you have to pay separately.
Okay.
But I have no idea how much it comes out to be.
Does this depend upon the landlord of the place or?
Yes, it does.
Acha. Okay, all right. What about the groceries and what about the other utility bills as well?
That's honestly no. For me, like my rent covers all the utility bills.
Oh, interesting. ठीक है.
And the groceries depends on your dietary preferences, I would say. You can get by with as low as say 150 euros, and some people even spend as much as 200, 300 euros a month. Because like also dietary preferences, I mean, like if you mostly eat vegetarian food, it's usually cheaper. But if you buy expensive meat, I mean, you can also, and yeah, meat is a bit expensive, and other than that, you also can buy this ready-made stuff from the market. If you know, but if you cook on your own, you can save a lot on the groceries.
What's your situation? Do you cook for yourself or do you guys often eat out?
No, it's not about eating out. Most people here cook themselves, but even then, you have this ready-made stuff. Like you just buy it from the market, and you might have to, there's say instant noodles, or you may buy a ready-to-eat pizza, like just put it in your oven and it's done, something like that. So these things can get costly.
Okay, perfect. So now let's try and put a pin down to a number कि एक महीने में international student का खर्चा कितना होता है?
If you are living in Munich, easily 900 or 1000 euros. Like that's the lower end, I would say.
And in 1000 euros का जो living expense है, you mentioned that जो account blocked होता है उससे हर month आपको 850 euros मिलते रहते हैं, right?
Back in my time, yes, but अभी वो increase हुआ होगा because like they keep revising it to adjust to the inflation.
So I guess whoever is gonna go to Germany, they're gonna be safe and they will easily be able to manage their living expenses for each month.
In Munich, a bit doubtful, honestly. Like blocked account amount, the monthly amount is calculated based on the average of whole Germany. And since Munich is, an outlier, it's much more costly than other cities.
Okay.
You usually end up spending more than the blocked account amount.
So what are the other ways of earning? Because of course studying abroad is very costly. Germany is a special case and we will discuss about the tuition fee scenario, but what are the other avenues from where an international student can earn from?
Yeah, so here lots of companies have part-time jobs for students.
Are you doing a part-time job?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about that.
So I work at the university itself as a research assistant.
Okay.
So, and the work is mostly oriented to my field of studies. It's also beneficial in that way. Like I get experience in my domain and I also get paid for it.
What's the pay like? What's the hourly wage over there?
Depends, but it can range. So if it's a technical job, I would say minimum like 14 euros per hour.
Okay.
And some companies can go a bit higher, like say 15, 16, I don't know, 20 in some rare cases. But you can expect around 14, 15.
Okay. And how many hours can you work within a week?
So up to 20 hours if you are working with a company. But I think if the work is at university, you can, there's no limit for that.
Okay. All right. Are you also allowed to do part-time jobs off campus?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I said, right? So you can work at companies as well.
No, so you mentioned that you're working at the university as an RA position, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's an on-campus situation.
Yes.
And so talking about the off-campus part-time jobs, let's say other than companies, what other job options are there for the students?
Honestly, most students do like go into technical jobs only. Like there's so many big companies here, BMW, Siemens, you name them. Or they work at the university. But if not technical job, you can maybe take up delivery jobs or work at a bar, at a restaurant. But most people end up doing technical job anyways. It's not very difficult to find one here.
Okay, all right. Now let's try and address the elephant in the room, the tuition cost in Germany, right? How true is it that public universities are offering free of cost tuition?
So used to be absolutely true till now. That is changing from next semester at TUM only. Like other universities are still like free, but like TUM is going to charge, I think, 4 to 6,000 euros a semester for
Okay.
master's program from international students. But
Up until now, you have been giving zero tuition fee. to the
yes,
university,
nothing.
right?
Yeah, I don't have to pay anything.
Aren't there like any hidden charges?
None. Like you have like the student union fee per semester, like 50, 60 euros. Not
Okay.
much.
That's very normal.
Yes, but
Any-
other than that,
anything else?
nothing. I didn't have to pay anything other than that.
Okay, so at TUM, you're doing your master's degree almost free of cost, right?
Pretty
But
much.
why this change now? What has happened?
Honestly, so the state government, like the Bavaria state where like TUM is located, they passed a law, I think, which allowed the universities to charge fees from international students. But it was still optional. Not every university, like it was like an option to charge and not a compulsion. TUM opted for it. Now the reasons are best known to the university. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
There were even protests against it and stuff, but they went ahead with it.
Are other German universities also looking to, change this whole scenario with the tuition?
I don't think so. At least I haven't heard of it.
Okay. No news up until now.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's talk about TUM, right? And the experience of your whole campus life. Firstly, I want to understand the moment you saw your university for the first time. What was your reaction and what were you feeling?
So kind of mixed reactions, like coming from like Pilani, like it has one of the most beautiful campuses in
Right,
India.
exactly.
So it's not exactly comparable. These are, they have very functional buildings here. So to speak, like it's good, like it's very modern, it's very functional, but the beauty aspect of it, like which I had back in Pilani, I kind of miss that.
Of course. Pilani, I guess, is a campus which is full of nature and pretty huge campus that they have.
Yes.
Right. All right. Okay. So I guess Pilani scores 1 and TUM scores 0 in terms of infrastructure.
Not infrastructure, I would just say the general campus feel. Infrastructure, I would still say the labs and all is better here, but just visually, Pilani was better. Yeah.
The vibe was way different.
Yes.
All right. So what happened during the initial week of your orientation? क्या हुआ था?
We didn't really have an orientation week exactly. We did have a preparatory week though. It was just taught us some programming languages and got us, up to speed with say Unix, Linux for people who don't know it and some other stuff. But I mostly already knew all of that. So I skipped most part of the preparatory week.
Acha.
And after that, the classes just resumed. Like the classes started pretty abruptly, to be honest. Like, it was nothing like a transition phase. They just started.
Okay. All right. So what about your classes? What's the course and the curriculum looking like?
Okay, it kind of depends. So it's pretty flexible course. And people, specialize in a lots of different fields. But I think the first semester is mostly compulsory courses for all. Not many choices, but from second semester onwards you have quite a few choices, and third is completely all electives.
Okay.
And you can stretch. So, and also like the ideal duration is like 4 semesters, but usually people end up taking 5 or 6 semesters. That's a bit heavy curriculum.
Okay.
It's difficult to manage your courses, especially if you are also doing a part-time job on the side. But yes.
What's with you? What's the situation with you? How many semesters are you gonna do?
So for me, it's like currently like my 4th semester will get over at the end of this month. But I'm graduate. I'm like doing my master's thesis right now, and that will end like mid-November. So 1.5 months extra, I would say, on top of the 4 semesters.
Okay. All right. Do you want to tell the viewers about your thesis topic?
So I'm working with like bubble growth simulations, kind of like, but very niche topic. Not many would be acquainted with it, I suppose. But yeah.
Interesting, and honestly said, of course, even I am not very well acquainted with your thesis idea.
Yeah.
But yes, that's great. That's awesome. Now talking about the batch you're in, what's the diversity looking like, and what's the batch strength you have, and where are the folks from?
So I think there are like 60 or 70 people. I don't know the exact number.
Hmm.
And lots of people from India. I would
Okay.
say like at least 15 people are from India. Lots of Germans, obviously. A few Chinese students. There are a lot of Chinese students in general here, I think.
Hmm.
I would say like the highest number of students, like international students, are from India and China. Kind of obvious as well.
Okay. I was going through TUM's website and I found out that they've mentioned 41% of the students at TUM are international students. Is this true?
I think it's even more for my program specifically.
Okay. All right.
Lots of international students.
Of course. So you have a lot of Indians over there. I'm sure.
We do.
I'm sure it wouldn't feel कि ठीक है अभी घर से बहुत दूर नहीं आ गए हम हैं लोग आसपास हैं हमारे जानने वाले.
Kind of like, yeah. If you compare it to say US, UK, it's still less, but yeah, it's still like not like you are stranded alone. Like there's still lots of Indians.
Right. And what about the faculty that you guys have? How helpful are they when it comes to helping you with your course or assignments or maybe looking out for jobs?
The job part, I'm not really sure. Like, I haven't really reached out to any professor specifically myself. But in general, I think they are quite helpful. Especially like they're happy to help, if you don't understand the topic, you just contact them. They usually give you some time, you can go and meet them or something like that. Most of the profs are very helpful in that manner.
Okay, all right. And what about, because a lot of incidents happen, what about TUM and other people being a bit biased to international students or showing some situations about that? Has it ever happened to you or any of your friends or something like that? Or is it a very safe space?
I find it safe. It's I never think anyone, has a bias against you, especially in academia. I think those folks are used to, interaction with people from multiple cultures. It's like it's collaborative work after all.
Right. All right. So now let's move towards the jobs and the placements part. My first question is, do you have any idea कि तुम्हारे seniors की average salary या highest salary or the lowest salary क्या थी तुम्हारे senior batch की?
So unlike India, universities don't publish these stats. In fact, they don't have these stats in the first place because unlike India, here you are supposed to look for jobs yourselves. So, but still, I've talked to a few people, and from my experience, like for an entry-level job, at least for my program, you can expect like anything from like say 55,000 per annum, 55 or to say 65,000 per annum. That's like pretty decent, if you ask me.
65,000 euros per annum, right? That's great for an entry-level job. Now, how do people find such jobs? Is networking the only play, or do you guys also have some specific platforms where you can go and look out for?
Both ways can work. So a lot of people, do their thesis at a company. For example, say you did your thesis at BMW or Siemens, lots of companies, big corporates here. And usually the companies directly offer you a full-time job if you do well in the thesis.
Acha, okay.
So lots of people get absorbed into companies like this. Also, like, for example, one of my friends got his thesis through his professor in a company. So, of course, this is where networking comes into play. Like you ask your professor.
Right.
He or she lends you, connects you to someone offering a thesis. But for direct jobs, I'm not very sure. There's also like career fairs, like where multiple representatives of this different companies come. You can talk with them.
How helpful are these career fairs?
I haven't really taken full use of it. I went once or twice to these career fairs, but I couldn't really find companies I was interested in or the job roles I was interested in. But say mechanical students, I think it was pretty good. Those or aerospace engineering, it was pretty good. They also have a career fair specifically dedicated to IT. My program is kind of somewhere in between. It's very niche field, so I think it's okay. I mean, you wouldn't expect a lot of companies anyways in this field.
Okay. And I was reading that the Times Impact rankings for higher education, TUM is ranking first for innovation infrastructure, basically. And why do you think is that the case scenario?
They really do have very good infrastructure. Like, for example, I got access to. So they have this huge compute cluster. I think it was like 9th fastest when it opened, and they're continuously improving it. So this is one example. So like I think it's in phase 2 right now. Once it's completed, it will probably again go in the top 10 charts. So like you can just imagine how much resources the government puts into it, because this is not even, we don't pay anything for this. All of this is funded by the government.
Right.
They really do have very good infrastructure, and we get access to such compute clusters as part of programs for curriculum and all, This is just one example out of many.
Okay, interesting. I have one more question. So this is again, I'll be referring to the Times Higher Education Report 2022 as well. TUM ranked at 12th when it comes to employability, right? Which is way ahead of universities like NYU, like University of California, so on and so forth, right? Why do you think is that situation? And having said that, are you guys or the students who are studying at TUM, they're going to be, stress-free about the employability scenario? कि ठीक है, job तो हमारी लगी जानी.
Yes, so Germany, till now has been a booming market, so there was really no dearth of jobs. Things changed a little bit recently because of the war and all. I think that everybody's aware of.
Yeah.
But till now, so far, I don't think anybody specifically found it very difficult to find jobs. And especially if you're a TUM graduate, it's regarded very highly in Germany, even abroad. Like, it has a very good name. Just the fact that you graduated from this university takes you places.
Right. Basically, it's the it's safe to say that these guys are the IIMs and the IITs of Germany.
Yeah.
All right. So now, I was also seeing that there are a lot of company-sponsored projects, right? Do you have any knowledge about that? And have you ever worked in such projects?
I haven't worked firsthand, but yes, lots of companies collaborate with the university and fund these projects. You can work on it as a thesis or part-time, anything. And also professors and PhD students from the university are involved. Lots of companies offer joint PhDs in collaboration with the university. So, you work on that topic as and once you finish it, you receive a PhD degree, something like that. So lots of collaboration like that between the companies.
Right. Okay. All right. So last question about the jobs and the placements. What's your future prospect? What do you have in plan for yourself? How are you gonna find a job? And are you gonna stay back in Germany? What's your plan about that?
I do plan to stay here in Germany, or rather prefer to stay here, but I'm kind of open to options all over Europe. But I really fallen in love with this place. Kind of also got very well acquainted now. Moving is always not easy,
of course,
as well. So my preference would be to stay here and do a job for a few years at least. But I do plan to return back to India after a while.
Okay, all right. You're planning to return back to India after a while.
Yes.
Cool. I hope till then your stay in Germany is as perfect as it can get. Yes, I hope you keep enjoying the Bundesliga over there and you keep enjoying the German beers that you guys have, right? Cool. I think we have covered most of the topics. So I want to understand once more. You have already mentioned a couple pointers regarding this, but what is the medium of teaching in Germany? Is it very German inclined, or English is pretty much comfortable?
Right. So till bachelor's, as I mentioned, most bachelor's programs are in German. All of their school education is in German,
Hmm.
unless of course, some schools, like international and private schools, offer education in English. But for most part, it's as a language, not we have, for us, like in India, most of us, when we say English medium, everything is in English.
Yes.
But these guys study in German with English as a second language.
Right. Right.
But for masters, most of for me, everything was in English.
Okay.
But there are a few German masters courses as well.
Okay. And what about the other universities in Germany? Like, do they also have the same English influenced master courses, or?
Lots of universities do.
Okay.
Lots of them.
Okay. All right. I was also reading that TUM has a very, very strong acceptance rate, which is just 8%. So, why is TUM so competitive?
As in, just the 8 is, you mean 92% get rejected or something like that?
Yes. If let's say 100 people are trying to apply for a particular program, 8 of the folks are just getting selected.
It really depends on the program. First of all, some programs are a bit more lenient, some are not. But they do kind of focus on excellence. Like, they really, even our exams are very rigorous. They don't really you cannot really pass a subject without just as a fluke. You actually need to have knowledge even to pass it, let alone score good. Kind of, it's difficult all the way, not just getting in, but even getting out is difficult.
Right.
They
Okay.
really focus on it too.
Okay.
So ensure that whoever comes out is at the top of the field.
Okay. Perfect. Yashas, so you were among those 8 folks that got selected at TUM.
Probably.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we have covered everything that was out there. Now let's jump towards the rapid fire round that I want to play with you. Okay. So let's start. So the first question is, tell me a pro and a con about Technical University Munich.
Pro, very good infrastructure. Con, we don't really have a good community feeling like we have in Indian universities. A bit more individualistic culture.
Okay. Second question: if not TUM, then what else?
I would have gone to Chalmers. That's where I got an admit from. So I was almost certain I would be going there before I got the admit here.
Okay. All right. Why Germany and not US?
Right. So the main selling point, I would say, of Europe in general is lower tuition fees. And Germany is just literally zero tuition fees.
Yes.
And on top of it, of course, very good education.
All right. Tell me one pro and one con about your program.
A pro would be really lots of international students come. You really meet so many different people.
Diverse background.
Yes, it's really fun to meet different people with different thoughts and all. A con would be, okay, so the way they conduct exams here, I don't really like it. They just have one exam in the end for everything you study throughout your semester.
Okay.
That's kind of just one exam makes or breaks your grade.
Okay. All right. That's very strict and that's very limiting.
It also has some pros, they basically allow multiple exams in a year like this. So you don't have to, the course doesn't need to be offered. They just offer separate exams. So if you fail, they'll offer you a retake or offer an exam next semester without actually offering the course.
Okay.
That's you can see that as a plus.
Right. Okay, all right. Do you have a favorite spot at TUM to hang out with?
Not really. I usually like to hang out in the city itself.
Okay. Tell me one of your favorite spots that's there out in the city.
Marienplatz. That's the most iconic place, I guess, you can identify Munich with.
Right.
Marienplatz and this Frauenkirche. just behind it. So it's kind of like you just see that and say, oh, this is Munich.
Okay. What is the most budget-friendly place for an international student around TUM?
For eating?
Yes, for eating out.
The university canteen itself.
Okay.
It doesn't get cheaper than that.
All right, cool. What's one thing that you would want to change about TUM?
Residential campus.
All right, all right. I see you want an on-campus scene. Very
Definitely.
Perfect. Okay. My last question, second last question. What's one myth that got busted once you landed in Germany or once you landed into TUM?
I don't think anything was out of order, like something like I did not expect.
Try and rate your college out of 10.
I would say 8.
8. Why 2 marks that are being cut off?
So one is like, as I said, I kind of don't like the exam pattern here. It's very difficult. And second is the exam itself, like they really are very difficult. And then after the exams, like the grading also depends completely on the professor. So for example, at BITS, we had this limit, like they had to give an average grade. Like they had to maintain a constant average.
Right.
Like say 6.5 or 7, something like that. Here the professor can do whatever they want. So for some courses, everybody gets extremely good grades. For some courses, even though you work very hard, like nobody gets a good grade. So those things can be a bit standardized because you don't know what to expect. Even, if you have studied very well.
Right.
Sometimes you feel you are not rewarded for your efforts.
But why is the situation like this? I mean, why is it not standardized? What's a benefit for students?
I have no idea.
All right. I think this is a good note to end this whole conversation. Let's try and figure out the whole concept behind the German exams that are happening. And yes, it was a good discussion with you, Yashas, and thank you so much for giving your time. I hope this conversation is very value adding to all our users, right?
Yeah.
In the description box as well, we have Yashas' LinkedIn URL over there. You can just go and visit his LinkedIn profile. You can maybe chat with him as well if you have any queries, only if he tries to entertain you, right? So yes, all the very best for your life ahead, Yashas. And
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, see you. So this was everything about TUM and Yashas's journey of studying abroad. If you're planning to study in Germany, I hope ये वीडियो आपके लिए काफी यूजफुल होगा. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel as well. Hit the bell icon so that you never miss any other important update from Collegedunia Study Abroad. I will see you in the next video. Till then, this is Swapnil signing off. Bye.